All right, Pottstown Preview 2025 featuring the GOAT, Robert Wingert. Rob, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, James, thanks for having me. Rob Wingert here. If you're watching this video, you probably know me as the voice of Center Court, along with my esteemed partner Luke Pinto. When I am not harassing double B players at 1:30 in the morning on Saturday night, I am the head men's volleyball coach at Misericordia University.
Awesome, love it. And if you don't know me, James Moyer, I'll be playing. I try my best every year, but usually don't end up winning. This year should be a shoe-in for me, no problem. But looking forward to the tournament. Rob, you want to give a quick history on Pottstown?
Yeah, so we're going to the 33rd year of the Pottstown Rumble. Started in the early 90s, just Ken Kaz, a man with a dream that he has made come true. It's now the biggest doubles grass volleyball tournament in America. I know Waupaca and Pottstown go back and forth every year for biggest team, but 3 days. I always call it Christmas in June if you're a volleyball fan. Whether you're playing or just there to hang out. Such an awesome community, such amazing vibes all weekend long. I stopped playing a few years ago, and it still brings me back every year to just see all the great people interact and obviously watch really, really high level volleyball and even higher level heckling from you, usually late on Sunday, James. I think you have more fun than anyone at the tournament.
Yeah, me and Charterina maybe. And two fun facts about the tournament that I just learned this year is one, this is supposed to be Rich Dougal. Is that correct?
Yeah, Rich Dougal, NEPA native, right in my backyard. It was modeled after Rich. He isn't playing as much anymore, so now it's passed down to Charterina. But yeah, some like kind of hybrid between those two. Neither can get their platform together because their chests are too big.
Yeah, I had no idea until this year. Someone told me that at a local tournament. I was blown away. And then the other fun fact I learned is someone showed me a video of like a 1990s pot sound of some dude coming down like skydiving, and they had to stop that because they were worried he might impale and kill himself.
Yeah, you got to ask Ken about that. They did have a parachute landing that was supposed to be on center court. I think, as the Memorial Park trees have gotten bigger and they started having bleachers, they had to put that to an end. But there's a couple other things they used to have in the 90s that we probably shouldn't discuss on this video. But you get Ken late on Saturday. He'll be happy to tell you about all the innovative things
Uh,
they tried to do.
I love it. I love it. There's really no rules in the middle of Pottstown, Pennsylvania. I mean, I've never even seen a police officer in the area, so
Yeah, I don't think I can touch on that too much, but like I said, I've got a few stories that people would be shocked
uh,
to hear of things that have gone down at Pottstown.
yeah, maybe off camera, but we'll say just for the sake of this video that this list is what, like 2 weeks old.
Yeah, it's like a week to 10 days old right now.
Yeah, so added a couple teams myself that I know are playing, but I'm sure there's more teams that have signed up since then, and maybe a few that'll drop. But Rob, let's get into it. These are the teams on the bottom that I don't know, so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I'll touch on a couple that I do know. John Austin Bly and Billy Weiberg, aka Wild Bill. Absolutely the best player who'll be playing in his reading glasses all weekend long is Wild Bill. These guys broke pool last year. They had a great showing at the Smash. They're part of the Buffalo Boys contingent. Damon, huge grass volleyball scene up there. So I know you don't know him. But I've had him pegged as a low two, high three. Definitely wouldn't want to see those guys in my pool. Next up, Jack Normandin, Tanner Sirocco, both recent graduates of Nichols College. Jack Normandin, a lot of people go to college for 7 years, Jack. They're mostly doctors, but you got all your college volleyball in. Those guys just played in NCAA quarterfinals, dual All-American outsides at the Division III level. Super skilled, really crafty. I would guess they're probably going to be a high four, a low three, depending on where they get thrown. But they're going to play a really interesting, unique style. They're both great defenders. It's one of the ways they upset Stevens. So another group I can touch on there. And lastly, I'll hit Andrew Deerdoff and Josh Schellinger. Two Div 1 outsides, both big bangers. And James, I know in your last video, you were kind of coming down hard on the D1 outsides, saying, oh man, these are guys who never do well in break pool. So if I were you, I'd be crossing my fingers that Andrew and Josh don't show up. They're going to have huge jump serves, and all it takes is a little bit of time getting hot. Both honorable mention All American outsides of the D1 level. Josh had played at UC San Diego before he's going to finish up now at Loyola. Andrew at St. Francis, so they've seen some really high level competition, and I think they're gonna like swinging hard on the big court this weekend.
Yeah, I will say it's D1 outsides that don't know how to bump set, but once they figure that piece out, they're dangerous.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I played with Francesco Sani for multiple tournaments, and once that guy figured out hand setting, he was a real problem.
Yeah, you couldn't get him away from the Italian VNL team to play with you this weekend?
You know, he asked me, but I said, I'm okay. I've got a much better partner. Don't worry about it, man.
I'll tell you what, still would take Big Country in a joust over Sani for sure.
Oh yeah, at least in a hot dog eating contest.
What do you want to hit next, James?
All right, let's move up to these five seeds. These are teams that I probably don't know much about either, and you also see Pennsylvania is in green here. I put that because it's a Pennsylvania tournament. These are the hometown heroes. We're hoping someone from Pennsylvania brings it home, but um, I don't have anyone to touch on here. Happy to skip this, but if you want to talk about anyone, go ahead.
I'll hit two really quickly. Tom Hefner and Andrew Ulrey. These guys have been playing men's open probably before you were born, James.
Sure.
They've been around for a while. When I was still hacking it, these guys were getting really strong finishes at ECV. Both relatively local guys. I believe Andrew is still the girls' coach at Hempfield High School. Produced a lot of great volleyball players on the boys and girls side. So would love to see those guys have a nice showing. And then a couple other, like you said, you're in this range where you got some college guys. I'm seeing St. Francis alum, Springfield, Pepperdine, Juniata. So there will be some athletes in this area, but no one that I can really see shaking up the tournament too much.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of guys here that show up that I've never seen before that just bomb jump serves, maybe go up 4-0 on the good side early, and then I don't know where just go 0-8, and it happens every year. It's very annoying to play against them, but if they're not hot, it's very nice to play against them.
Yeah, and the tough thing is too, sometimes, even if it's an 0-8, but if you're playing that hour and 20-minute pool play against them as part of
Yep.
your back-to-back, it can be a little bit of a challenge for sure.
Yeah, I say a lot of these indoor guys too, they can side out, no problem, but scoring points they haven't figured out quite as well. So they just will kill you energy wise.
Yep.
All right, I'm good to move up to the fours here.
Alrighty.
All right, I'll let you take it away first.
Yeah, first name that sticks out to me here, Justin Brubaker and Hunter Davis. Justin, one of the greatest NCAA Division III players of all time, back when Karen was still Philly Biblical. Over 2,000 kills, over 1,000 career digs. He's just a physical monster, and even though he's into his mid 30s now, he's still got a lot of that physicality. And Hunter has a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Hunter actually played his way out of men's pro last year because he was playing triples till about 1:30 in the morning
Oh my
on
God.
Friday in the A finals. And then had to text his partner, one of my alum, that he was in the hospital with heat exhaustion. So I'm hoping Hunter handles his Friday a little bit better because these guys are going to be really high energy, going to be able to make some solid block moves, probably have a pretty good serving run so they can make a little noise. And then I
Hey,
know
I actually just met Hunter for the first time at Mayfest, and I'll say I thought I was the loudest player that I've ever known. Hunter is so much louder than I am at 8 a.m. It is unbelievable.
Yeah, so you can only imagine what he's like at 1:30, and he's doing that all day long. So yeah, Hunter could be a fun one to see. And then Tom Burrell and his partner Jake
Whew.
Berger. I
Yeah.
don't know much about Jake, but Tom is a physical animal.
Yep.
I think you and Buff talked about it last week. He gets on a heater from the service line. He's an excellent blocker, and those are two really fantastic ways to pick up points. So, if you're letting them hang around at 6-6 and then Tom rattles off a couple aces and grabs a couple blocks, all of a sudden you dropped an 11-6 and maybe they got the split they need.
Yeah. One team I'll call out here, Miles Olson, and his partner I don't know as well, but I just met Miles this year, and I feel like is your ideal indoor to outdoor transition kind of player. Maybe like 6'1", 6'2", outside hitter, just super good control, passing. He has everything you would want in an indoor to outdoor transition. And then he also has this serve that will tail on you from right to left, which in outdoor with a two-man serve receive is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I would not want to try and pass that. Tail serves are a thumbs down from your setter and serve receive for sure.
Yeah. And then Lucas Oseki, I actually played in 2023 at Smash. He has the weirdest approach arm swing I've ever seen in my life. It looks like his arms are both about to fall off, and then he hits the piss out of the ball, and it's very infuriating to play against.
I've seen way more of Lucas Oshesky than I've wanted to over the past few years, mostly torturing my team in indoor. We played NYU the past 2 seasons. In 2024, he started the match with 6 consecutive foot faults, but then he ended the match with about 5 consecutive aces. So it seemed like it was a fair trade-off. Lucas is so skilled. He has every single play, shot, touch in the book. He's very relaxed. He played with one of my alum last year at the Smash, played with Anthony. And
Yep.
I didn't see him hand set a ball all day. He
Yeah.
is just so comfortable with his platform. I have no idea who his partner is, but what I can tell you is that Lucas is a fiery competitor. So there's a 0% chance he's coming with someone who will not help him compete at a high level. And, if I'm looking at these threes overall, I definitely would be comfortable saying I can see Lucas breaking pool.
Yeah. On the opposite note, Aaron Farman, I think someone that has zero competitive instinct in him. He is looking to come and just play volleyball, have some laughs. I played him in pool play a couple weeks ago, and I've never been in my head so much with the way that guy, it's not smack talk, it's like nice talk. He's complimenting the whole time. I've never heard anything like it. He's telling me his blocking calls as he's serving. It was threw me off my game like I've never been thrown off before. And I mean, he's just a goofball. Probably the biggest goofball at the tournament.
Yeah, and he's also the number one rain cat. If there's any sort of precipitation that falls from the sky and you're looking at the FanDuel lines, you're just going to see AJ's odds start going up and up because, when you're not jumping or moving
Yeah,
that fast,
yeah,
it's not very hard to keep your footing. So all of a sudden, AJ's at a really big advantage on you.
yeah, yeah. Who else we got?
From the three seeds, another one I want to talk about, Derek Al and Leo Ferrari, two Jersey guys. They'd be lucky if they hit 10 feet if you stacked them on top of each other. They're right in that range. Derek is a couple time All-American setter, and a lot
Right.
of times, you talk about guys, especially setters. Oh, they've got their indoor hands and they've got their outdoor hands. Derek just has hands. This dude
Love it.
could drop a ball on the moon in tempo if you want him to. Just absolutely can sling it from all over. So it'll be really unique as these guys are going to see these two 5'10" guys line up and say, "Oh my gosh, we're just going to bully these guys." But then they're going to be running tempo. They're going to have routes going. Derek is absolutely going to set one or two balls over on second and just stare as it goes because he's got such unbelievable confidence in his hands. And then both these guys bring a little bit more heat from the service line than you'd think for little guys. So I'm not sure they're going to break pool, but they could make a little noise, like we talked about earlier, of just pushing and needling teams and going, "Oh my God, how have we not put them
Yeah.
away yet?" That's exactly the kind of team I can see these two being.
Well, I hope they're not in my pool. One team I'll call out Wesley Chung and Gabriel Felsetti. They're Massachusetts Northeastern guys and lived up there for a couple of years. And Wesley has been on a mission to win Double A at Pottstown for like 5 years. He finally won it last year.
Wayne
Texted,
Chung, I know, I called it.
yep, yep. He texted me at about 2:30 a.m. and said, "Hey, we finally did it." And I said, "Okay, get your ass in open. I'm sick of it." And here he is. So first time playing open, I believe. And I mean, he made playoffs at Smash like the past 2 years, so I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah, and I heard that if Felsetti's rocking his single feather earring, then his vert goes up like 3 or 4 inches. And the
Yeah,
last thing that dude needs to be doing is elevating higher. Former All-American middle from Endicott. He is a monster athlete. He's gonna hit a couple
yes.
balls in warm-ups that people are gonna go, "Holy cow,"
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he could have a top 10 arm at the tournament, honestly. He's the kind of guy that if he hits you in the face, you're taking a 20-minute timeout.
for sure.
Let's talk about Tim and Ryan. Tim Callahan and Ryan Trotterino talked about it last week a little, but Mr. Trotterino, I mean, one of the greatest hecklers of all time, but he's, grown up a little bit, matured. This weekend, I think he's going to be playing like he's 21 years old, just talking the most shit that he's ever talked in his life because he's playing with Tim Callahan, who has absolutely no filter.
Yeah, it's funny, the first time I met Ryan, he was playing with John Edens here at the Smash, guys made a semifinal, a lot
Yep.
of option balls on two. And if you know John, he looks like he's carved out of marble, just statue, abs on abs. And Tim has the exact same body type. People might get confused and think that it's John back here again. But no, in all seriousness, I think a lot of us were surprised to see those two guys struggle last week at the Rumble or at the pre-Rumble. But maybe, they got those jitters out. Ryan was back on the grass for the first time in a bit. So definitely expect a bigger showing. And if they do end up as a 3 seed in your pool, I don't really think you want anyone who's been a Rumble semi-finalist within the last decade
Yeah.
as your 3 seed. And they're not the only ones in the threes who hit that category, but obviously both still playing a lot, and can be a really dangerous team if they get going.
Yeah, for sure. I'll touch on Chapman Hagen really quick right above them. Chapman Hagen, they went 3-3 at pre-Rumble, did not break, or sorry, yeah, they went 3-3, didn't break at pre-Rumble. They beat the 4 seed for 2 sets, and their other set victory was against McInley and I. They beat us 11-3, absolutely smoked us, and then didn't break pool. I said, Dustin, that's a bad look on me. You can't beat me and then not break pool. So talking about teams that could get hot from the service line, I mean, they aced us 11 times and we lost the game like that. So I would not want them in my pool again.
Yeah, Nick's arm is so dynamic. I've played him
Yeah.
a few times in some co-ed stuff. I've obviously coached against him, and you're putting up a good sized block, and you're thinking, all right, I'm taking something away, and then it lands. You're like, how did you find that? And you've mentioned it before, Dustin flying around, touching so much. They're just keeping points alive when you think you've done enough to side out, or if they're getting hot from the service line, they definitely can cause some havoc.
Yeah. And they've just got good energy, good team chemistry, which is so much more important than people give it credit for.
Yeah, to touch on another 3 seed, Ben Shinichi, Ryan Shinichi, institutions at the Pottstown Rumble. I've got it in my notes here. I still do think that Ben is the youngest semifinalist ever. He was a junior in high school when he made it with his oldest brother, Corey. Ryan, top overall seed in 2019 with Yasmin Cole before Yasmin switched to full-time golfing. So, once again, not a group you want to see as a 3 seed. These guys don't play nearly as much volleyball as they used to, but they're two guys who understand how the tournament works, how long the days are, how they need to conserve. And all of a sudden, a couple jump serves go, they have the right breaks in pool, and you can be looking at your 3 seed leaving as your one overall from your net.
Love it. What else you got?
I think for the threes, that was everything I had. So now we can really do a
Well,
deeper
I
dive
saw
into our.
you put some on Derek Smith. Is he
Oh, yeah, Derek Smith, 2007 Rumble champ, going to the Hall of Fame. He's playing Masters the night before. Derek is also going to play some untraditional volleyball. You'll be lucky if he hits you a regular serve. So if you see Derek's name pop up, just get ready for anything coming across that net from the 30-foot line.
love it. All right, let's move up to the twos here. All right, let's start with Jeremy Ayers and Johnny Hughes. Jeremy Ayers, if you don't know him, he made finals of men's 40 and over last year with Mr. Yoder. And Jeremy Ayers and Johnny Hughes, they took a set from me 2 years ago in pool play at Pottstown. I ended up going 7-1 in pool. I mean, hell, it's the only set I've lost in like 4 years. And Johnny is a lefty that's like 5'10", and you see him warm up, you're like, ah, he's pretty good. And then he starts playing, you're like, all right, this guy can piss off because he's siding out like nobody's business. And he's making digs that are just out of this world. They're a team that is relatively unassuming, but they can pass and they can play ball.
I haven't seen either of those guys play recently. I saw Jeremy obviously for 40s and over. So I'm definitely going to add them to my list to make sure I get a look at during this weekend.
Yeah. Speaking of 40 and over, Ryan Genova and Eli Poor. Not sure how old Eli is, but pretty sure they're still roommates. And if you don't know who Ryan Genova is, you need to add him to your list of teams to watch because the guy's attitude is just full of sunshine. He's loving life. He looks like an Adonis. He looks like a 6'7" menace, 8 pack, and just smile on his face all day. And still balling, still taking care of his body. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's a legend.
Yeah, and what I love about Ryan too, I've never seen someone try to lengthen their approach in the grass game. That dude is making a 28-foot 3-step approach and just hitting the sharpest angles. Him and Eli have been playing together for well over a decade at this point. Two guys who are not strangers to this tournament, and definitely if they can find the stamina to keep playing well late in the day. I know that was a big issue for him last year. It had hit, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and that's a tough time to be going. You've already been going for 10 hours at that point. So if they can find that little bit of juice to win some of those late ones in pool play, that's going to be their key for breaking.
Yeah, I mean, I played with Ryan Genova a few years ago in Smash, and we had to forfeit because stamina was such an issue. He wasn't able to play Sunday, And a lot of people say they should just, yes, Pottstown, it's a hard stamina tournament. I say just get better at volleyball, win games faster.
I think that's the best advice you can give.
Yeah. And then, you touched on formal Pottstown semifinalists. How about a former Pottstown winner, Garrett Dim, playing with Anthony Savage? Garrett, I think that's a guy that can get hot from the service line, and not necessarily because he's so big or has such a heavy arm. Just the amount of spin this guy can generate on his serve and just touch and corners this guy will tag is it's dangerous. And Anthony, I mean, he's been playing volleyball forever, not as much as he has in past years, but I think he's at the point where he's played enough in his life that he can just be smooth. He can be that guy that can side out over and over. So they're definitely a two seed that can make some noise.
Yeah, during my younger years, I remember heading out for a night in Westchester with a crew, and Garrett Dim was out there as well. And I had a little too much beveraginos from Kildaris, and I was not feeling the best. And I remember I felt like I was getting a massage by like a gorilla on my shoulders, and it was Garrett Dim. And I was like, Garrett, you're only like 6'1", 6'2". How are your hands so big? But he's just got absolute paws, and he, like you said, he contacts the ball so well. He can tail it with late wrist action, and all of a sudden it's on you before you know it. I haven't made a ton of playoffs in men's open, but when I have, Garrett has frequently been kicking the crap out of me, knocking me out with massive jump serves, and seeing him do it to a lot of different people over the years made me feel a lot better about my fate in those tournaments.
Yeah, love it. And Garrett Dim, he's probably a guy that's got some stories that we're not going to talk about on camera.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Who else you got?
Well, I just got to give a quick shout out. Anthony DePalma, Mason Nisley, Ant, my former player, Mason, my former torturer at Messiah, former National Player of the Year. So much physicality. If you want to hear the world record for grunts inside 30 seconds,
Yep.
watch these guys warm up. They'll grunt while passing, they'll grunt while setting, they'll grunt while hitting. And chances are they're setting from like 28 feet to each other, so the grunts might be forced. But these guys are uber physical. They're both under 25, so you'll see major serves, major swings all day long. And you want to talk about the kind of group that, oh my God, you just don't want the pressure of having to deal with that level of intensity and ferocity all day long. They're not a group that you're going to be able to rest through pool play with because they play with so much intensity.
Yeah, agreed. Roger Suburbi, David Vorfy. David is probably someone that I believe he played at St. Francis. Is that right?
St. Francis, Brooklyn, before it closed down. Massive lefty, if I remember correctly, when he emailed me and told me he wasn't interested. He is like an aeronautical engineer, some crazy stuff. The dude,
Wow.
and it makes sense because when you watch him take his approach, he looks like he's about to take off. So, massive lefty, ton of range to his arm, really heavy. Don't know much about his partner, but I can't imagine I would want to serve David too often.
I think David will be seeing more serves this weekend. David, Roger Suburbi, I played him twice in my life, and both times I did not serve Roger. Roger has autoimmune disease to the sun also, so he will be dressed out in fully black clothing, no skin showing at all. He looks like the Terminator because he is just straight faced, doesn't smile, and is showing absolutely no skin. And this guy can hit a serve. I mean, we're playing beach again. Well, Labu and I played against him and his partner at the time, and Roger's serve was a problem the whole like every time he missed a serve by 2 inches, we're like, thank God, can't wait for the next one. This guy can freaking bomb. I've never seen him play big court, only short court, and his serve was a problem in short court. So
Yeah,
yeah,
typically if you're a good server on the beach, it bodes pretty well to serve hard and serve more aggressive on the grass.
yeah. And like I said, he's fun to watch just because I've never seen him smile. He's Mr. Serious the whole time. Benji Alexander and Aiden, I don't know how to spell that last name. Have you seen these guys
Delorier,
before?
Aiden Delorier. Yeah. So Benji is a freshman in college now, just finished up his freshman year. Aiden is heading to his freshman year. He's playing at Loyola. Huge Div 1 outside. He could probably set at the Division 1 level 2. Benji got a little bit more beach to his game. I think he's known as the pajama kid, something that
Uh,
drives me nuts. Pajama pants in public, but today's not a day to get on a stump. And the funny thing is, despite being younger guys, they're pretty crafty. Benji's gonna get you over on one. He's gonna dig first contact balls. He has a highlight reel on his Instagram of him attacking free balls that are sent to him in indoor, it's a great watch because everyone looks so shocked. These guys played open last year. I think they struggled a little bit having it be their first Pottstown Open. But I think, having that experience under their belt, knowing what the days are like, that they could see a little bit more success this year.
Yeah, yeah, I saw Benji at I believe it was an AVP next in Virginia Beach, and these kids were in the quarterfinals. Didn't get to see him play all day, but everyone just kept saying, "Yeah, the young kids advanced. The young kids are still in it." And I was like, "Who the hell are these young kids?" I looked over, and I just see these kids. I'm like, those guys are still in the tournament, and they were killing it. So can't wait to see them play. Talking about not such young guys, Nolan Campbell, Dante McCoy. Dante is, if you don't know him, Mr. Double Socks. I mean, I don't know why he does it. I've actually never asked him, but before I even got into volleyball, my friends were like, "Yeah, there's this one guy. He wears two pairs of socks. Pretty weird." Saw him right away. Super nice guy, super awesome. I can guarantee he'll be wearing two pairs of socks. And I mean, this is a guy that knows the game, has a solid serve, will get most or not all of his serves in the court, and him and Nolan have been playing together for so long. I think their chemistry just bodes so well for them, and they're. I mean, I don't know if they've ever played beach. They know the grass game.
Yeah, Dante, what's more impressive, despite always wearing two pairs of socks, they're always perfectly white. Like, how many pairs does he have? Like, I've played in a lot of Pottstowns. It rains, it gets muddy. Dante socks are pure. It's like every pair is fresh out of the pack. And the guy's a graduate of Teal College. It's not like he's making $100,000. People couldn't even pin Teal College on a map. Dante, how are your socks staying so fresh? The people need to know.
Oh my God, yeah. Josh Barnes, Siobhorne Lorne. I mean, these guys are highlight machines. Siobhorne and Josh are both about 5'10", 5'11", both just very solid at every score skill in the game. Not really excelling in any one area, but just unlimited energy. I mean, they're probably 24, 25 years old and will just swing at everything.
Yeah, they've come onto the scene since I've bowed out a bit, so I haven't had a ton of chance to see them play, and I feel like they've done well at some of the local events, but have never really burst through at a Rumble or at a Smash in that way. So I'm hoping these guys can play well through pool play, and then we can see them in playoffs against some high level opponents.
I will say, I think the tournament bodes well for people with unlimited energy, and Siobhorne is Mr. Unlimited. I'm sure he's played many back-to-back Twilight and then day tournaments, and I'm sure he has no problem.
Yeah, that's for the 24-year-olds for sure.
Yeah. Josiah Hensley and Danny. I don't know his last how to pronounce that last name, but
Pareskevov.
okay, love it. This could be the tallest two seed in the tournament, or at least the highest touch-in two seed.
Yeah, I mean, Danny's got to be 6'7", probably close to a 7 foot wingspan, and not just touching high, but he reaches so well, so it
Yep.
maximizes that contact point. His float serve is an absolute menace from that downward trajectory. And Josiah, obviously a super athlete. I would not be running super tight offense against these guys, and would make sure my block moves are a little bit later trying to get those soft touches because not many people are operating in the altitude that these two play at.
Yeah, and I will say, I don't know if you've gotten to see Josiah play this summer, but his serve is going to be a problem in like 2 years once it becomes consistent. Because this guy's ripping topspins that are coming as fast as any other topspin you've seen. However, one in three will go under the net or three courts over, and it is hilarious.
Sounds like a lot of replays if you're playing behind him this weekend.
Chad, can you put him on like seven courts away from me, please? Giovanni Torres and Jake Milnazic. Jake kind of used to be in that serving category of it might be three courts over, but as he's grown up a little bit, obviously his serve is much more consistent. And hell, that thing comes maybe 2 feet over the tape. I mean, it is so flat where there's a lot of times where I played against Jake where I thought, oh, it's going to be the tape. I'm just going to catch it. And then, oh my God, it's at my platform and I'm not ready for it at all. That guy has a killer serve when it gets hot.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch Jacob in the grass game. Indoor, he's such your classic 0-2 model that I think he becomes pretty underrated. His serve receive is so good.
Yeah.
His floor defense, he does a really nice job with one-on-ones, but you don't see him taking a ton of high, flat, out of system swings. But then when you see it in grass, it's a lot more of that 0-2 skill set that you need. And he's done really well. He's played some of my favorite matches in history at Pottstown. He's had a couple play-ins at 10:30 at night under the lights on center court. upset Mikolau and Dosh a few years ago. I think that was like
Yep.
a 3 versus 64 or something crazy when they pulled
Yeah.
off that upset.
Yep.
And Giovanni guest on center court last year with his fan. I'm excited to see the energy these two bring. I don't think they've ever played together before in any capacity, so seeing how they kind of feed off each other will be really fun.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, Giovanni's kind of got that O2 mindset play style as well. So, I mean, I think they'll mesh together. And Giovanni does not need a particular set, which, Jake might be his worst skill. Sorry, Jake, I love you. But Giovanni doesn't really need a good set. He's going to swing at it, no problem. Buff and Sleds. I mean, this is your classic blocker defender combo right here. We've got what, like a 6'6" blocker and a 5'3" defender who can jump 65 inches.
The nice
Um,
thing is they save a lot of energy during the side switches because Jacob can just watch straight ahead. He doesn't have to go around the pole, so it works out well for him.
Yeah, and I mean, both of these guys can get their serve going. I think one of the more volatile two seeds. I think if they're playing their best, I mean, how they won an ECV last year, so wouldn't be surprised at all if they came out one on their pool.
I think the serving is really important for them to be able to pick up some easy points and aces because there will be no point during the day that this team split blocks.
Yep.
So Buffum having to conserve some energy and not worry about running to the net for 88 points of pool play is going to be big. So whether it's him able to generate some aces or Jacob, obviously, the Stevenson guys would always call it they're mushing the sleds and he's ripping those lefties. So they're definitely going to be a team that relies heavily on ace production and winning some pool play matches smoothly.
Yeah. Moving on, Camacho and Mercado. I mean, any team that's Team Yo-Yo in this tournament is going to have a lot of fans behind them at every point during every game they play, and it is probably extremely annoying for the other team because at a tournament like this where you're going off vibes, you're going off energy, Team Yo-Yo's always got the advantage, and Carlos and Jason also are very good at volleyball.
Yeah, Carlos so skilled, such a talented setter. You see him running the offense a lot of time for the triples teams for these yo-yo tournaments. I think they did really well at Fresh Coast out in Milwaukee. So his game's a little bit different, obviously in doubles, but still a really nice skill set. And if he can side out, we obviously know he can set really well. So those guys will be tough to put away.
Mike Mikolau, Evan Solomon. Evan is someone I've never seen play grass doubles. I've just seen him kill it in triples in a lot of Chandler Norris YouTube videos. I mean, he's an extremely good volleyball player, extremely good at triples. Mike Mikolau, indoor, just freaking amazing outside hitter. Guy was my first open game ever in Pottstown, and he was our 5 seed. And I think no one knew who he was because it was the year they made semis where he played with Angel and we lost like 5-11 and he came up to me, he's like, hey man, good game, you're pretty good. I was like, yeah, you're pretty good, dude. And then I learned that he was an indoor pro and then made semis. I didn't feel so bad after that.
Yeah, Mike Mikolau just going to be absolutely bombing serves. Classic outside skill set translates to outdoor. Huge beats, a solid enough setter, really good blocker, really good defender. Evan Solomon actually showed up with his brother about 3 years ago, Zach, who's an indoor Division I setter. Nobody knew who these guys were, and I just remember saying, "Hey, man, things are getting like pretty heated over on court four." And Evan and Zach were getting into it with somebody, and
Oh,
the mouth of the Midwest, man. This kid will let you know he's playing well. He'll let you know you're playing poorly. And man, if this was the 2 seed in my pool, I would not be thrilled about pulling those guys.
yeah, I mean, hey, I made this list and I'd still be pissed if they were my 2 seed. Titus Brown and Lexi Dela Cruz. I got to play with Lexi last year. I mean, guy is what just happened? I lost their names, but doesn't matter. Lexi is an absolute firecracker. He's so fun to play with and a lot of good energy, and he knows the game really well. I think he's like 33. A lot of people think he's like 21, but no, he's been around the game. He knows it. And Titus is like, I think 18 years old. I'm not sure if you've
Yep.
seen him in the recruiting scene, but I mean, holy hell, this kid can jump and bounce the ball. And guess what? He can pass too.
Yeah, see him was about the limit we got in the recruiting scene. Titus headed to Merrimack, Division I up in Andover, Massachusetts. Absolute menace, super physical, and it'll be really nice for Lexi to have someone who can, carry the load a little bit through pool play, be super aggressive, jump serving, probably spend some more time at the net blocking. Really like their partnership from a play style standpoint as well.
Agreed. And we've got the classic, Titus, young outside hitter on the left side. Lexi has been a right side his whole life, so that's gonna mesh real nice. Uh, Skylar Lillythorpe, Noah Slage. I mean, Noah is, I would say, one of the more, maybe the most unassuming two seed if you have never seen him before, just because he jumps medium. I mean, he does everything kind of medium, but then in game, I mean, this guy's like 6 foot, 6'1". He can bounce the ball and he doesn't jump that high. He just got really good contact. I don't know what it is about his wrist, but got a heavy arm. He can really, I mean, this guy can spike. And Skylar, I mean, you take it away. Skylar's a freak.
Yeah, I've actually never seen Noah play, but Skylar, when you've got a 6'5" ish lefty who skies, who can throw the ball around the court, even just if he's your only lefty in the pool, just dealing with the different break of that serve and how dangerous it can be. Spent some time with the out of system guys last year on their tour, so even if he's not super familiar with the grass game, he's got a little bit under his belt. I think it's his second Pottstown at least. So he'll be looking to make some noise, and especially they start racking up some aces, his presence in the net, they'll be fine side now. It'll just be, do they have other ways to produce some points against teams that are passing really well in serve receive?
Yeah. Patzer Vanderbeek. Patzer is a guy, he moved to Boston for like 2 weeks. He texted me, he said, "Hey man, we should start playing pickup." I said, "All right, how about Wednesday?" He goes, I moved out of Boston. I guess he got a job in New York somewhere. But really nice to meet him for those 2 weeks. I mean, super good guy, but guy's like 6'5", jumps about 3 inches, but it doesn't matter because his arm span is like 7 feet. Contact rate, ball control is really good. I don't know anything about Vanderbeek though.
Vanderbeek, lefty, comes a little bit more from the indoor game. He's gonna serve hard. He's gonna swing hard. Patzer, I had the chance to coach against him when he was at Wells College before he transferred to Damon. Really unique, full-time serve receiving right side. So he has all these different angles, even though he'll be playing on the left. I wouldn't be shocked to see them, running some offense, getting him back on the other side to use the dynamism of his arm. And I believe right now he's coaching at Seton Hall as a women's assistant. So spending a lot of time around the game in addition to training a bunch.
Love it. Micah Gottschall, Ryan Ludwig. I mean, this is another team that knows the grass game really well, except Ryan also plays a lot of beach. I mean, he lives in Virginia Beach. Micah Gottschall, I mean, this guy, he has been playing big court grass forever, big lefty too. And I mean, hell, they're a team that you wouldn't be terrified to have as your two seed, except for that you should be because, I mean, they took Caldwell Uridia. They were like 9-9, 10-10 with them in 2023 when they won the tournament. And I think they ended up losing like 10-15 or 11-15 in an absolute battle in playoffs.
Yeah, and also just two of the best guys you'll meet. A few
Yeah.
years ago, stayed till like 11 o'clock on a Saturday night to help us clean up around center court, even though they had made playoffs for the next day. And you see that, come into their play style as well. Ryan plays with a ton of urgency, but you never see him get down on his partner, where sometimes you see people with such a competitive streak holding their partner to a standard in a way that you wouldn't want if you were playing with them. Ryan's able to do that while staying upbeat with whoever he's playing with, and it's a really unique skill set that helps raise whoever he's playing with to the highest level possible.
And I've never seen a player play better while drinking alcohol. It is unbelievable how skilled he is. There was a Virginia Beach game where we crushed him in the first set. He went shotgun to Miller Lite, came back with the second one, started sipping it, and they cooked us in the second set. It was kind of shook me.
I'll tell you what, that is a skill in itself for Pottstown as part of that stamina, figuring out
Yeah.
how to make sure your alcohol intake is always additive and never subtractive.
All right, so Mason Andrade and John Pinsence, another Northeastern team. I mean, Mason and Jack, he goes by Jack, didn't play last year, but in 2023 had a stunning ninth place finish. They upset, I believe it was Zaka and Max Martin in pool play, both sets, and then they ended up losing to Donahue Dentler in the round of 16. And I mean, that was a battle. I remember watching it. I remember Donahue walking back to the service line, and I'm right behind it, and he kind of looks at the crowd. He's like, "Who the hell are these kids, and why are they so good at serving?" Because they're young guys, and they're not that tall, but they're fiery. And I remember they beat Jeff Samuels in a playoff game, and it got pretty heated. So definitely would not want them to be my two seed.
Yeah, Mason is so skilled. He's gonna go into his junior year, I believe, at Wentworth Institute of Technology up in Boston under head coach Evan Gilio. Mason started as a lib, moved to the O2 spot last year. Just super solid game, great platform, great defense. great serve receive, can score well enough on grass. He does it on the indoor level, at a pretty high clip. So makes sense he'd be able to do it out there. And like you said, just plucky guys who maybe not a ton of pace on the serves, but are going to tag lines, going to be really precise, used to small court from the Rhode Island beach scene, and take advantage of every inch they're going to get on the grass, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. And Max Martin and Dylan Zaka, I believe this was the team they upset. And Max, I don't know how much he's been playing. I know he lives out in the middle of nowhere, at least in my opinion. But a guy's been playing forever. He's probably the most borderline hand setter of all time, where every time he sets the ball, I'm like, is that a carry? I don't think so, but I want to call it every time. And I mean, Dylan's a freak athlete. This guy will just jump and swing at everything, and it's actually a problem because he's already good at that on the beach.
Yeah, we'll have to like consult Skylar Del Sol, number one caller of doubles at Pottstown, to see what he thinks of Max's hands. But yeah, these guys are super physical, super athletic. They're gonna swing really hard a lot of balls. They're gonna find ways to score. And if you're a one seed that relies a little bit more on the technical aspect or picking up your transition points and in a more traditional way of making digs and scoring, then these guys are gonna be giving you all you can handle.
Is Skylar Del Sol the one in that video where he's yelling at Zahn?
Yes, that was the reference.
I might have to link that video because I've seen it a couple times, and it's a video that everyone needs to see.
I'll give him credit. He did not back down. He was gonna stick to those calls.
I mean, that was a perfect set. There was nothing wrong with that set, but I love it. All right, let's move on to the ones.
All righty.
All right, again, give me all the heat for everything I did wrong with this list. I'm not perfect. All of my opinions are probably off. So if I have you not where you think you should be, I mean, just go out there and prove me wrong. Make it farther than I have you. So start with the Schaefer brothers. I mean, these guys just crushed it at pre-rumble. I think they took fifth, ended up losing to Noah Gunderson and Jarrett Ray. But I mean, they played great all tournament. And Christian, I mean, Mr. D3. Rob, you want to talk about Christian a little bit?
Yeah. Number one, congrats to Christian. Just signed a contract to head over to Denmark, play some indoor pro. Congratulations, number two. I think they're the first ever guys to go from the double A finals to a potential one seed the next year. I don't know what they were doing in the double A finals, but yeah, I mean, Christian, so big, so physical, every skill you could want from him. He does at a really high level. Tyler, not quite as big, not quite as physical, but an excellent setter. He's good enough in serve receive where he's going to give Christian the option to go over on two a lot. And he's got a deceivingly heavy arm. So if he is asked to side out a lot, which my guess is he will be, he's not going to have a huge problem putting balls away, even though, he's not touching high 11s the way Christian is.
Right, right. And then Matt Clayton and Ryan Love. They didn't. I don't know if they've ever played together, but I know. I mean, Matt Clayton probably was in the pool of death last year. I mean, him and Nick Drucker were playing at like 11 p.m. or something crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is a team. I mean, Matt's got a really good serve, especially for grass, and he's going to be swinging it a lot. He'll probably be playing right side, and Ryan loves to swing. I mean, this guy is one of the bounciest guys out here that's above 6'3" at the whole tournament. Don't know how they'll mesh together, but I mean, they're definitely deserving of a one seed, no doubt.
Yeah, two huge physical swingers, guys who are, akin to the grass game. If they're not a one, they're going to be a high two, and they're certainly in
Yeah,
contention to make a deep run should the bracket break well for them.
yeah, I think it'll be mostly on Clayton's service. If he can get his serve going, I think they'll have a much better shot of doing well.
Yeah.
And then Noah and Jared, I think this will be a similar one where if Jared can get hot from the service line, they'll be cooking. And I think they'll have no problem cooking teams in pool play. I mean, they were the number one overall seed at pre-rumble last week. I don't know what their point diff was, but when you're doing better than Dentler in pool play, I mean, that's saying something alone.
Yeah, insanely physical. Noah might not look insanely physical. It kind of looks like Jack Skellington if he decided to pick up volleyball. But he doesn't play that way. He swings hard, he touches super high. Jared in contention for the guy who's probably touching highest of anyone playing men's pro. So even if they're not setting each other super well, it doesn't matter because they've got massive windows to work within. And rumor has it is that, Noah could be breaking out a new pair of shoes at this tournament. So all of a sudden, that point diff is going to be even easier if he can keep his footing underneath him.
You know what? I do think he broke him out at pre-Rumble, so don't get too excited. I will say I think Jared Ray is second highest touch. I think Lebu might have him. Not sure.
You know what? That might be our warm up before the Sunday Night Finals. We're just gonna let those
Yes.
guys joust on center court.
Yes, I love it. Grant Holvey and Dan Waters. I think Dan Waters is a guy that's been getting disrespected with twos and threes for years. He played phenomenal last year at Pottstown. I believe he ended up taking ninth, losing to Belov Lucas 14-16. And I believe Dan had a swing to win too, which probably eats at him. And last week at pre-Rumble, Dan Waters played with Jason Campbell, and they lost in the quarters to capitalize 10-12. And it was 10-10 for a long time too. And if you've never seen Dan Waters play, this guy looks like he belongs nowhere near a volleyball court. His passing's ugly, his setting is okay, and his swing is atrocious. But he's a results guy. He's not a form guy.
James, you're really enticing the people to check out some Dan Waters games. It's
Oh yeah,
everything you shouldn't do on a court, but it works for this guy.
exactly. I mean, I love Dan. He's in the top 10 nicest guys on the tournament too. I'm playing with my first tournament with him later this summer, and I couldn't be more excited.
That's awesome.
Deto Frazier. I think they will be out for blood this year after being up 12-5 in the round of 16 against Moyer Hunsberger. And they were up 12-5, lost the game 12-15 after about an hour and 10 minutes. It was probably the most entertaining game of the whole tournament. And Deto has only gotten better, and Frazier has dropped nothing. I mean, he's what, 41, 42 years old?
Yeah, I think I was gonna say if you take out Brocious and maybe take out Derek Smith, Frazier probably has the most men's pro experience of anyone who's playing this tournament, and he's still doing it at such a high level,
Yeah.
and he's a dual sport athlete, not only a phenomenal volleyball player, but also world champion in beer pong as well.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for your Pottstown fun fact of the day, and Detto a few years ago was playing with Stevens head coach Dan Buring, and they dropped for stamina. So it's been a couple years since they've probably either of these guys had made a run they feel is akin to, hey, this is what my ability level is. So I like that phrasing of being out for blood because they'll be looking for a lot of success for sure.
Oh yeah, I have them making the round of 16 at floor. Kristen Hartnett, Landon Shorts. This is a team that I mean they know the game well. And Landon, I wasn't sure how in touch he was going to be last week. I think last week at pre-rumble was his first volleyball tournament of the summer, so I wasn't sure. But I think he's at that age now where he doesn't really get rusty. I mean, maybe one pool play game, and that guy will be cooking up jump serves and probably has the highest vertical at the tournament. I mean, you've probably seen him in the D3 scene for years, but I mean, they took Dentler and Dylan Cox 9-11 at pre-rumble, so hell of a game there.
Yeah, Landon's my guy. He was a freshman when I was a senior at Stevenson down at Maryland, so I was lucky enough to cross over for a year. Then he coached under me for 2 years before he went on to do his thing with Central York. So I'll always ride for Landon and Kristen. It's so fun to see them play together. And yeah, Landon is a freak. It's like riding a bike. He comes out, and not only had he not been playing, I can tell you he was at weddings for 3 straight weekends, the last of them being mine. So it's not even like he was training. He was actively working against. You could say he was training for Pottstown maybe for the social aspect, but yeah, he had a great weekend, played some really high level ball, and his serve will give you fits if you are not ready to pass that level of pace. And then Kristen's gonna short deep you, the best short float in the
Yep.
tournament probably.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, definitely one of the best deep top spins that is like, no way that's going in. It's not that fast. It's not that. And then it'll just drop on you. Landon Krause and Chandler North. Hell, I mean, this could be the most physical cumulative team at the whole tournament, maybe second to Beans Boo. But if you have not seen Landon Krause play, I think Landon Krause, this guy's lefty. I think he's young, and he might touch 11, 10. Absolute freak, big in the triple scene. Him and Chandler have been running the triple scene up there in the Midwest, and never seen them play doubles. Not sure if either of them can set, but I don't think it'll matter because even if they're terrible at setting, they only need a set within 10 feet of the net and they will side out no problem.
Yeah, Landon was NAIA National Player of the Year a few years ago. I want to say William Penn, big time Oppo. And yeah, super physical. So is Chandler. Nobody in the park's gonna look better than their in their 3/4 long sleeve shirt than Chandler will. And something that's really underrated about their game, you'd think you're hearing, oh, this Landon kid, touches high 11s. He's probably the worst blocker of the two. I think Chandler is a fantastic blocker.
Yeah,
Only 6'2". He's in a little bit of that Shane Donahue mold of these super late, really disguised moves. And even if you come to center court and you feel like you're going to be rooting for someone else, by the end of the match, you're going to be pulling for Chandler North and you're going to want to see those guys win because their energy is just infectious in all the right ways.
absolutely. Just electric the whole time. I'll let you take this next team.
Kevin Nardone, Christian Smith, two guys who broke my heart in indoor a ton. 2016 national champions from New Paltz. Ton of beach work for these guys. Christian was National Player of the Year as a setter, ran a 6'2", played right side a bit. Kevin Nardone, you would never guess it now by how he looks, but he was a lib, maybe the most jacked lib in the tournament. He's probably
Yeah,
third in Rumble Man competition.
yeah,
Um, if they can get adjusted to grass quickly, whether we're looking at, the block touch rule or just the bigger space and keep pool play simple, these are two guys that, others might be surprised, but I wouldn't if you go, man, Smith Nardona, the 4 overall seed. It'll just be about them working through the rally scoring through the tournament on Sunday when you get into some of those knockdown drag out playoff matches.
yeah. And they're probably some of the mentally toughest players at the whole tournament. I mean, I think McInley could be the mentally toughest player at the whole tournament, but I see a lot of that in Nardone and Smith just hyping each other up, but kind of getting pumped when they need to, but never getting down no matter. I mean, you could score 3 points in a row and they will be locked in the whole time. They actually made finals at the Dig 2 or 3 years ago, and I mean, they were playing great. We got to back it up one team, Josh Bigford and Carter Dipman. I don't know Dipman at all. I know Bigford some, but I'll let you take this team too.
Yeah, Bigford, 5-time All-American indoor. Really hard to do. Shout out to COVID. Josh is the most precise volleyball player I've ever seen in my life. Just lowest error rate of anyone I've ever seen indoor. I think it was below 6% for his career, which when you think about scoring 1,800 career points to error lower than 6%, it's unbelievable. His partner Carter Dittman, Rochester guy, outside at Penn State. I think this is going to be a really unique combination of, I imagine Carter's going to come out and play really physical. And I imagine Josh is going to come out and you'd think, oh, you're hearing precise. It's probably a lot of float serves. No, he's still going to be jump serving. He's still
Yes.
going to be tagging lines. It's just everything he does looks like it was pulled from a textbook of how to play volleyball, how to do it technically correct. And Josh also will be attracting a lot of views on center court for stuff other than his play because my God, is he a handsome kid.
Yeah, we played him last year at Smash, and I couldn't tell if he just wasn't taking the game seriously, but I think he fixed his hair more than amount of kills he got in the game.
Oh man, but yeah, he's just a relaxed guy. That's just how he plays, and he gets a lot of Steve Harrington from Stranger Things comp. So I think that's
Yes.
accurate.
Yeah, he does look like him. Speaking of guys that have a lot of the opposite of that, a lot of fire, Kruger Milligan. I mean, these New York are they both Damon?
Both Damon and Lund. Yep.
Yeah, I mean these guys. We played them in triples a couple years ago, and they're fiery. They just scream, they're loud, and they're pretty big dudes. They will swing it a lot, but you probably know them better than I do. I mean, hell, they're right under Schneider's Alaska. We got whole Damon crew right here.
Oh man, the Buffalo boys. They bring energy to everything they do, whether they're playing or they're on center court as fans. I'll just run right through it. Michael lived and set at Damon. Cam 0-1 there, playing overseas. I think he was in Finland or Sweden this year.
Yeah,
Super physical, just absolutely rails the ball, but really high ball control at the same time.
yeah,
Zach Schneider comes from the Schneider volleyball family tree. Oldest brother played at Medaille. Bradley played at New Paltz. Zach was at Long Beach before he came home. He's in the USAV beach pipeline now. Saw him on Instagram actually training in California. Really physical right side, played a little left as well, so he's got that ball control, heavy arm. And then Kyle Zelasco, maybe the best 69-inch tall player in the park. The Buffalo boys will always let you know that. Anytime we have an undersized 0-2, I say, hey, go to Damon's 2023 film and watch Kyle Zelasco play outside. Because if that guy can score at that level, there's no excuse for why you can't. So creative, so explosive, so athletic, and he's transitioned to lib as Damon's made their jump, but has not affected his ability to side out in the grass.
yeah. And if we're still talking Stranger Things, Kyle Zelasco is just like Dustin.
Oh my
Curling,
God, it's like a dead ringer.
it is insane. I literally saw him. I go, you're not the actor, are you? Like, and his serve is developing really dangerously. I think he's got a little bit of that Ian Cap where he can just come right over the net and then it'll drop, and you're like, I'm not even close to that ball. Even if I was protecting that line, it's still an ace. So
Yeah.
real scary. Moving on, Tyler Penberthy and Eddie Martinov. Don't know Eddie real well, but Tyler, I mean, AVP pro, no doubt about it. He's like a full-time AVP guy, qualified too many times to count. He's qualified for Manhattan Beach. So if he was on your net, I'd be real pissed. I don't know if he's ever played grass, big court. I think he runs actually Pelican City volleyball down in Florida, and they run a lot of quads, triples tournaments, but don't know how much doubles they're doing. However, Tyler's just good at volleyball. He'll have no problem. However, don't know if I've ever seen Tyler jump serve at a ball in my life.
Yeah, he's an upstate New York guy, so I imagine he's probably got some quads grass experience from stuff like, 10 Ugly Men or Flower City. But no, I'm not sure I've ever seen him in the grass double scene, but I think he'll be able to figure out his way along the tournament.
I mean, is Tyler just an upgraded version of Josh Bigford? Maybe. I don't know.
Don't let Josh's dad hear that.
I'm not touching this next team. This one's all you.
Ryan McInley, James Moyer, pretty overrated here. Wouldn't have him in one. No, I'm kidding. You guys have had a great summer so far. Obviously, getting a lot of reps together. You mentioned it. Ryan's so mentally tough, just like Frasier. So much experience playing deep into this tournament. It's been amazing to watch his transformation as he's really chasing this down again. And so much energy, so much positivity. Super excited to announce your game on center court whenever it comes, whether it's during pool play or a deep playoff run. I think you guys will be a dangerous semifinal contender all weekend long.
Yeah. And Tyler Penberthy, never seen him jump serve. Never seen Ryan McGinley float serve in my life. Don't
And
even
I
know
don't
if he
think
knows
this
how.
weekend it's going to start.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how hot it is or how tired it is, he will will himself to jump serve and run up and scream every point. He actually texted me at one point during the winter. He goes, "Hey, do you want me to full-time block this year?" I was like, "Do you want me blocking? I don't think that's very smart." He goes, "Okay, no problem. I'll lose 30 pounds." Okay, man. I guess some guys are just like that. Cam Beans and Jacob Labouliere, very interesting team. I mean, if you haven't seen Labouliere before, you probably have, and you just don't know that this is him because he's 6'11" and a half. Uh, don't know if he's quite that tall, but he's freaking tall, and he holds himself real well. I mean, he's real athletic for someone that tall, and I think his only problem will just be, can he consistently give Beans a good set? Good news is Beans swings deep. Beans does not, he's not trying to bounce balls all day. He only needs it 5, 6 feet off, and he will hit the piss out of it at the back corner over and over again. And if Lebu can find his serve, they could be seen in the semis, no problem.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Dave Evans and Robbie Page circa
Yeah,
2013 when they made their run in the Rumble. Or maybe it's 2012. Sorry if I got that wrong. But you're talking about the technical aspect of things. I am so much more curious about this team from a personality standpoint.
yeah,
I would not say Jacob plays with a ton of urgency ever. He's a pretty relaxed guy who's like,
yeah.
hey, things are going to figure themselves out. Cam is insistent that they will probably win every pool play game 11-0 or 11-1, and I just don't see that level. So it would be interesting to see if Cam can accelerate Jacob a little bit, or if Lebu can calm down Cam a bit, or maybe it all blows up. But they're a team I will have my eyes on the entire time.
I think they might just be in their own worlds, each other, the whole game, and there will be no crossing paths. Like just high-fiving, not really talking much, and just doing their own things. Like,
Luckily, they're talented enough to get away with that.
yeah, yeah. Oscar Guimemerius. I don't know how to pronounce. I mean, do you know? I know him a little bit. Do you know this guy at all?
I know neither of these guys. The first time I heard of Oscar was when I wrote your vid or fired your video up last week. So this is all you, James.
Yeah. So Sammy Jadea, he played with Charter Arena last year. They took a ninth, and Sammy is a Brooklyn guy, full-time volleyball. I believe just he trains and coaches. That's his life, and he's 24 years old. I mean, he got into volleyball a little bit late, but 6'4" lefty. I mean, has gotten drastically better each year that he's played. And he likes to travel to Brazil to train. So stamina is not going to be a problem. I feel like whenever I see those Brazil training videos, they're just jumping over bars. That's all they're doing. They're not even touching volleyballs. But Oscar is full Brazilian. I mean, this guy lives and breathes volleyball, and he's good. I mean, like I said in the last video, and it's gonna bode even better in grass. When this guy goes up to hit, it looks like he's just gonna catch the ball because he doesn't like the set, and then he jumps up and he'll bounce it 4 foot, and you're just like, where did that come from? How's that physically possible? Still trying to figure it out, but Oscar's gonna be dangerous on grass like
Did
that.
they drop because of the weather last week?
Yeah, so we didn't get to see them play.
Yeah.
But I think they'll have no. I think this will be a nightmare team if they drop a set in pool play because they're trying to figure out big court and then cook the rest of pool play, and they're 7-1, and then all you know they're playing another one seed first round.
Yeah, they're that like that grenade 15 seed that you wouldn't expect to be down there.
Yeah, yeah. Andre Belov and Oren Zeindorf.
Zindorf, I believe. I think it's a soft Y.
Or I mean, Oren is going to be an absolute menace on grass, and not in the fact that he's jumping high because he's also like 5'8", but talk about ball control, serve receive, and serving ability. This guy is maybe one of the only other guys at the tournament that I would say is faster than I am, and his ball control is. I mean, he's been playing beach volleyball since he was a kid, and I don't know how old he is, but he's got years of experience on me. And then Andre, obviously volleyball legend. I'll let you talk about Andre.
Yeah, Andre, couple-time Rumble champion, has a few runner-ups. At his peak, would undoubtedly be the best server in the park. FIVB best server on tour once or twice, fastest serve in beach at one point. He can still dial it up from time to time, just not all day long. So he'll be, a menace at the net. He'll probably split throughout pool play, I'd guess. Maybe not
Yeah.
against their two, just to conserve some energy, but Sunday, I think you'll really see him dial it up in a couple different ways. And I've played pickup against Oren once or twice back in the day, and yeah, he's a grass snake, man. You don't even see where he's going back there, and all of a sudden
Yep.
he's picking up every shot. He can dig if you're trying to swing through him. Defensive menace for sure.
Yeah. My favorite quote from Andre of all time. Is like, "Why would you serve at a person? Just serve the grass." He actually, funny story. When we were playing the Vaughn tournament, he goes up to Lebu after Andre's out of the tournament. And we're about to start semis. He goes up to Lebu. He goes, "Why are you playing so bad?" Lebu's like, What are you talking about?" He's like, If you tried, you could just be better than everyone." Lebu's like, "I am trying." He goes, "No, you're trash." So, and with that thick Russian accent, don't forget.
Yeah.
Kevin Knight, Dan Leathers. I mean, this is a team that I think they had a tough draw last year. They were playing Cap Miller, and I think the final score they got knocked out in the round of 16 or the round of 32, what, 13-15. And I talked to Ian a little bit after the game, and I was like, yeah, like they were scoring a bunch. What was going on? He goes, they serve the grass a lot, and they serve it fast.
Yeah, Kevin and Dan are both more beach guys. I'm pretty sure Pottstown was Dan's first ever grass tournament last year, so he was learning, baptism by fire, so he's got that under his belt. Kevin was only his second time, so they're building up, their Pottstown endurance, their Pottstown stamina. Dan, excellent defender, both precise from the service line, and I think mentally they're both going to come in much more prepared for what it takes to make a deep run and
Yeah,
how they need to prepare themselves up coming to the weekend and then throughout the weekend on top of it. And, the only thing I'll say is I might be rooting against them a little bit because I love when Kevin gets in the booth with us. So that's the only reason I'd want to see them lose.
love it, love it. Jason Campbell, Josh Milkey. I mean, we got the classic Randy combo here. And if you don't know, Jason Campbell goes by Randy because back in the day, I believe it was Zahn who he called him Randy, and it stuck. And it's going to be his name forever. I believe at his day job he goes by Randy. I think most of his coworkers don't even know that his real name is Jason. Um, but these guys, they had an awesome finish last year, took fifth, losing in a tight one to Torres Hoover. I mean, hell of a tournament for them last year. And these are guys that I just learned both of their dads used to play together at Pottstown back in the day. So they both
DJ
come
Milky.
and they both, I mean, imagine you and your partner both have a kid, both the same age, and both play men's open together. I mean, that's just a perfect scenario. And these guys have the chemistry, they've got the vibes.
Yeah, I actually had the chance to coach Jason for a year before he decided that college wasn't for him at Misericordia, and he ended up at a state school in New Jersey. Most talented platform I've ever seen. He doesn't care about any sort of technique. He's just like, oh, well, if it hits my forearms, it'll probably be a pretty good pass. And he is not wrong. And I recruited Milky a little bit out of high school, first team All-American setter, also at Wentworth. He has gotten so much better. And like you said, their vibes are immaculate, so much beach experience. And looking at the list, I would say they're the physically least imposing one seed by
Yes.
quite a bit. But you could argue that they technically, with their skill set, make the most of what they've been given, and then they win all the points in the margins. If there's a ball that hits a foot and an elbow and then a head, I'm gonna guess it's theirs, and I'm gonna guess that they won that point.
Yeah, yeah. Thomas Hurst, Patrick Rogers. I mean, Thomas Hurst is he's kind of got that similar play style to Milky and Campbell, where he's just really good with what he's been given. And this guy, I mean, he jumps solid, but he can bounce balls with like he's perfect jump timing. And Patrick Rogers, this guy will go OT on you no problem, especially in grass. And shout out Ball State. I'm a big Ball State fan, but Patrick killed it this year at indoor. I'm sure you know a little bit more than I do.
Yeah, Pat started training with Team Freedom when he was 16, and I remember Ian texting me and saying, "Oh my God, there's a 16-year-old in the gym who's far and away the best player." Both guys who are in the USAV Beach Pipeline. Thomas Hurst made a lot of buzz at Pottstown last year, playing with the Cupcake Colorado Cupcakes. He was rocking the fedora, taking 30-foot approach jump sets and triples, just embarrassing everyone. We're like, who the hell is this kid?
Yep.
But trains with the Bazies, plays club at UC Irvine. I have no idea how Niffen hasn't gotten him on the varsity team yet, because I can't imagine they've got 18 guys in the gym better than he is. But probably our youngest duo to pull a one seed, and absolutely a dangerous crew who's gonna have energy, who's gonna have technique, and are really training for something beyond Pottstown, which I think could lead to some interesting strategies for them, but also, they just have the physical ability to take everyone to the cleaners should they need to.
Definitely. Hey Rob, some people just want to play club volleyball because it's the best option out there, right? Not speaking from experience or anything, but
You're right, I forgot about that. X
uh,
Terps for life.
yeah, yeah, buddy. Logan Hunsberger, Travis Moyer. I mean, talk about another team out for blood. I think they have been a little pissed off at the finishes they've been getting at local tournaments. And I will say, if there's any team at the tournament that's going to play better with energy and with a big crowd besides Team Yo-Yo, it's going to be Hunsberger Moyer.
Yeah, they're going to be the fan favorites all weekend long,
Yeah.
not just because they're local guys, but because they're giving out free food, which is really, really important at Pottstown. Shout out Godshall's Bacon. But yeah, I mean, these guys, there's not much more to say about them. Two of the best men I know. Play with awesome vibes. They're fun to play against. They're fun to play with. And they're going to make it a memorable weekend, whether you're a competitor, a spectator, whatever it is. They're just electricity on grass.
Yep. Von Jerker, this is the team that, and I seeded this based off what I think they'll seed all the teams off of. Von Drucker, I would be so unsurprised if they won the tournament. I think Drucker has had a good shot at winning every year just because of his ball control and serve alone. And you give him a guy like Vaughn who's just Mr. Consistent and kind of Mr. Boring. I think they're going to mesh so well together that I would not be surprised if they won the tournament.
Yeah, Vaughn is, he's an institution at this point. This guy has been playing in big moments at Pottstown for the past 10, 11 years. And it's funny you say Mr. Boring. He's the only person who's ever told me he doesn't want to go to center court because he doesn't want the other team to get fired up from it. He wants to beat them
Yeah,
on court 42, near the creek, under the trees, like just wants to hang under the radar.
yeah.
And shout out to Vaughn. He got married 2 weeks ago. So congratulations, Chris. So if you haven't seen him out at some different events, I'm pretty sure he was married and honeymooning. So that is why. But he will be out trying to pay off some of those vendors because I know what that kind of stuff costs.
Nice, nice. Well, I think this guy is the king of playing mental warfare with his opponent. Maybe that's why he's trying to play on court 67.
I
Uh,
watched him refuse to resume a match at the Smash 10 years ago until a call was either replayed or overturned. And he sat on the sideline for 10 minutes. And you know what? There was a replay, so he got it.
Love it, love it. Cap Elias, I mean, th this is a team that I think everyone in the tournament probably knows at this point, and this is their first time playing Pottstown together. However, not their first time playing together. I mean, they're very good friends off the court, which I think bodes well for teams on the court. Vibes are always good. I mean, they've been doing real well. They won Horsham Day. They made finals of Pre-Rumble last week, and I mean, if Ian gets his serve going, it could be over for any team. And speaking about Mr. Boring, I think Elias is kind of number two on that list of he'll just side out, float serve, go back, doesn't really get too excited, but damn it, he's good at volleyball.
Yeah, and such a sneaky good athlete too. Jumps way better than you
Yes.
think. Finds some crazy angles. To be honest, I think Ian's had great Pottstowns the last couple years, but just has ended up with some really bad breaks of how
Yeah.
the brackets worked out for him. So as we know, that's so much of how it works out. But anytime you're talking about teams inside the top 10, they're a threat to win it all.
Hoover Torres, I mean, this is an electric team. I mean, it's Yo-Yo's bread and butter right here. They made semis last year, and I remember them getting to the semis and kind of people in the crowd saying like, "This one will be over quick. This one will like they're finally going to meet their maker." 15-2, 15-0. What was it? 15-12, 15-13. It was something real close. I mean, they are here to play, and Christian Hoover and Jeremy Torres probably my team to watch for the whole tournament just because of Jeremy's fire and Christian's athletic ability. And Jeremy is probably the player at the tournament that needs the least preparation. And when I mean that, I think he could stay up drinking until 3 a.m. the night before, probably show up at 7 a.m., and he'll be just fine.
Yeah, I don't think a one seed ever really wants to be described as scrappy. I think that's like a tough thing. But God, these guys, I remember that semifinal, block, elbow cover, recycle,
Yeah.
go again. And then they would just work the point out. It would finish with a swing from 12 feet off with nobody up, and they would tag a line. I felt like every point was going that way. And some people would say that's luck. But when you're doing it in every set all the way to the semifinals, it's clearly a skill set they've developed.
Yeah. I think you were probably rooting against them just because every time they scored a point, there was a loud fan on the sideline.
Oh man, bring back the fans. We need more fans at Pottstown this year, figurative and the literal fans.
Yeah, yeah. And now we got the Basie brothers. I don't know if they'll actually be coming just because of USAV Beach, but God, I hope not because they are good at volleyball. I mean, these guys will side out to they will side out to death. I mean, they pass set and hit better than maybe any other team. And their float serves are, I'll say they're the best float serving team at the whole tournament. And I don't even know if they're allowed to be called float serves because of how fast they come.
Yeah, from a technical aspect, they could be two of the best volleyball players in the park. They're both great athletes, kind of cookie cutter, 6'4", 6'5", look a lot like each other, obviously. We had to go by sunglass color last year. But what was really fun for me was to see their demeanor change. Friday night they're playing triples, they're calling out
Yeah,
plays from the sideline, they're doing interviews. You've seen them on Instagram. You get blocked, you get put in the box. But to see them start to dig deep as the tournament went on and kind of lose that persona and show, hey, we're competitors,
yeah.
we're legit, we're for real. It was their first Pottstown. I'm so psyched to see what they bring to the table from that mental aspect this year. If they're gonna, hit it harder and really, really come with, hey, we're all business start to finish.
Yeah, agreed. And guys, I hope if you're listening, I hope you're not playing triples because I want to win.
I think they learned their lesson. Maybe they're gonna save some of their energy, or maybe the Colorado Cupcakes are going back to back.
Yeah, you need content these days. You need it. Caleb Queckel, Nate Miller. Nate, I hate to put undue pressure on you, but I have you winning the tournament. I think it's Nate's year playing with Caleb and talk about another like team that's just good friends off the court. I think they live together for a little bit in Florida, but I know they train together all the time. They hang out all the time. And Caleb and Nate, if you've ever met them separately, you'd be like, those guys are friends. They get along great. I mean, Caleb is Mr. Quiet and Nathan is Mr. Attention.
On such physicality, we
Yeah,
take breaks on center court to let the field rest. I think we're gonna have to take a break from center court to let the craters rest after these guys play. Just
yeah,
not just from where they swing and the ball destination, but like their approach. They're violent with how they gather their feet and take off. And Quakel's got a win under his belt with Dentler last year. Nate and Ian playing together for years have been unable to get over that hump and actually grab their win. So it'll be interesting to see how they do separately, but man, I'm not sure any team, maybe Lebu and Beans, can match up with these guys physically from a touch standpoint, but I don't think from a stamina standpoint. These guys could serve and swing hard for 2 days straight and probably be ready to play, an extra game after the final's over should they win it.
yeah. And I will say they don't look like volleyball players. Like they look like just guys that are really into CrossFit or really into something else. But yeah, they're pretty good at volleyball. And I think there's no doubt in anyone's mind that this is the overall one seed. I mean, we're looking at what a four-time Pottstown winner, and Jake just won it 2 years ago, made the finals last year, and a professional AVP player. And I mean, they've already played together before. I think there's little risk here with this team, but I'll let you get some insight here.
Yeah, if you were to look at, overall Pottstown finishes and develop some kind of point system of guys who are currently in the field, Dentler's your number one for sure. Has obviously moved back to Pennsylvania after his stint with, playing beach full time, and he's still training full time. He's coaching, so he's around the game a ton. Jake, originally an East Coast guy, out to California, comes back for this one. The grass game really fits his skill set because
Yeah.
he's so physical. He takes advantage of that extra space, but he has that experience of, some of the beach aspects of the game. Undoubtedly the number one, and it'll be fun to see if they have the stamina and physicality to match up, should our bracket break out perfectly with a Quakel and Miller, with a Basie, because those guys are just a little bit older, but certainly have the veteran guile and have the experience on their side to, to take down another Pottstown championship for each of them.
Yeah, and I think Jake is Logan's nemesis just because they beat Logan one year and Logan goes, he's basically cheating. He only hits it 70%. I'm like, Logan, you don't have to hit it as hard as you can every time. He goes, I
Don't
think
tell him
you,
that.
yeah, he doesn't know because that guy I mean, he might have the heaviest arm in the whole tournament, and every time he shows it. But yeah, I got Dentler Jake winning. Or sorry, I got Caleb and Nate winning. Dentler Jake in the finals, and I mean, hell, anyone can make the semis. But Rob, what else you want to talk about in the tournament?
Yeah, just, have fun, embrace, meet new people. If you're an open guy, remember James does not do the seeding. And my warning on top of that will be the seeds are not correlated to the number on your pool sheet. We want to have high level matches on center court all day. So you're Beans and Laboo, and you might be the 4 seed in your pool, but that's not because you're the fourth overall seed. Every pool still has a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, whatever it is. But we want to space it out well to make sure that we can, make sure everyone's not playing at the same time. So don't get, all riled up. Don't get your trail runners in a bunch. If you're looking saying, oh my gosh, I'm a 3 seed, they don't respect me. Not how it works. Keep your calm and beware of grenades in your pool, man.
Yeah, have fun, but also from a fan's perspective, I love controversy, so get in lots of fights too.
Awesome. Well, James, thanks for having me, man. It was super fun to preview the Rumble again. Like I said, it's Christmas in June. It's one of my favorite weekends every single year, and I'm excited to see some high level ball and, as always, meet some new folks.
Love it. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on, and everyone have fun, enjoy the weekend, play some good volleyball. See ya.